Everyone wants to be strong until it's time to carry something heavy. And not just physically heavy, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually heavy. People look at strength as something they're either born with or they're not. But here's the truth: most run from strength is not given. It's not granted by some divine fail or natural talent. It's built. It's carved, lifted, earned through burden, through weight, through pressure. You can't learn strength in comfort. You can't build resilience when everything's going your way. Growth doesn't happen in the sunshine. It happens in the storm. You think the person with the calmest demeanor, the sharpest mind, and the firmest resolve just appeared like that. No, they were formed by the very things they once feared. They were shaped by failure, stretched by difficulty, beaten down by life, and they stood back up, again and again. That's where strength comes from. Too often, we pray or plead for a lighter load, for the stress to go away, for the challenge to pass. But the truth is, the weight you're carrying is the exact thing you need to become who you're meant to be. The weight isn't your enemy. The weight is your gym. The load is your lesson. The hardship is the hammer that forges your unbreakable core. When life hands you difficulty, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this building in me?" Because life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you need to grow. And it doesn't care about your comfort. It cares about your potential. You say you want discipline, you'll be given distraction. You say you want strength, you'll be given struggle. That's the currency. That's the change. You don't level up without resistance. You see, the problem isn't that life is hard. It's that we've been conditioned thinking it shouldn't be. That's where suffering begins, when you expect ease. Ease is a trap. Comfort is a cage. The longer you wait for things to get easier, the longer you delay your own transformation. Because ease isn't coming. Not the kind that matters. Not in a meaningful life. A meaningful life isn't built in a hammock. It's built in the arena. It's built under the weight you don't think you can lift. Right before you lift it anyway. What you're going through right now. That pain, that pressure, that invisible load you think no understands. That's your training ground. That's the place where the old version of you breaks, so the real one can rise. You can't skip that part. You don't get to wisdom without walking through some fire. You don't get to inner peace without battling the war inside. The moments you want to quit are the most important moments to push. Because every time you endure, your threshold expands. Your capacity grows. What used to break you becomes your warm-up. What used to scare you becomes your signal to move forward. This is how real strength is formed. Through repetition, through showing up when you'd rather give up, through choosing responsibility when escape would be easier. You don't build a stronger back by avoiding the weight. You build it by stepping under it, again and again, until what once felt impossible becomes routine. That's where pride comes from, not from recognition or applause, but from knowing you took on the weight no one saw and carried it without complaint. That's the kind of strength no one can fake and no one can take from you. And here's the thing. When you stop looking for the load to go away, something changes. You stop being the victim of your circumstances and start being the architect of your resilience. You realize, maybe the weight was never the problem. Maybe it was always the lack of training, the lack of mindset, the lack of willingness to face yourself. So the next time life hands you something hard, don't shrink, don't stall, don't sell yourself short, stand taller, breathe deeper. Remind yourself, hey, this isn't punishment. This is preparation. Every burden has a gift inside it, but only if you carry it long enough to open it. If you want real strength, don't ask for less weight. Train for more. Most people don't realize this, but it's not the hardship itself that breaks them. It's the resistance to it, the pushing against what is, the fighting reality, wishing it were different, hoping things weren't happening the way they are. That resistance. That's what makes the weight unbearable, because pain is one thing, but the mental war we wage against it, that's the real suffering. When something hard hits, loss, pressure, failure, disappointment, our first instinct is usually to reject it, to say, this isn't fair. This should be happening. Why me? And with every one of those thoughts, we're adding more weight to the load. We're not just dealing with the event. We're carrying our frustration, our denial, our expectations on top of it. The load multiplies, not because the challenge grew, but because our mindset shrunk. It's like trying to carry a boulder while screaming that the boulder shouldn't be there. It doesn't change the fact that you're still carrying it. In fact, it makes you weaker, because now your energy isn't going to lifting. It's going into resisting. And that's where most people burn out. They're not tired from life's circumstances. They're tired from fighting the truth of those circumstances. Here's what you have to understand. Life doesn't owe you ease. It doesn't care about your timetable or your comfort zone. It's not cruel. It's just indifferent. The river doesn't apologize for its current. The mountain doesn't soften its slope for your feet. They are what they are. And you can either waste your strength trying to make reality bend to your preferences, or you can accept what's in front of you and find your footing. When you stop resisting, something powerful happens. You start flowing. You start adapting. You start moving with the difficulty, not against it. And this isn't about giving up or being passive. No, this is about engaging reality fully. Because you can't influence what you're unwilling to face. You can't change what you refuse to accept. Some people confuse resistance with strength. They think if they just grit their teeth hard enough and reject the pain, they're being tough. But true strength isn't about bracing. It's about breathing. It's about saying, yes, this is happening. Yes, this is heavy. But I'm not going to waste time pretending it's not. I'm going to step into it and move with it. You see this in the greatest warriors. Not the ones who flinch and fight everything, but the ones who remain calm under fire. The ones who conserve their energy, adapt their approach, and outlast the storm. Not because they didn't feel it, but because they didn't resist it. They accepted it as part of the terrain. And that mindset, that mental stillness, is what made them powerful. The truth is, hardship a sculptor. And if you tense up every time the chisel hits, you'll never be shaped into what you're meant to become. You'll stay jagged, unfinished, frayed. But if you breathe, if you surrender to the process, not surrender your power, but surrender your resistance, you let life do its work. You let it refine you instead of destroy you. Think about how much lighter light would feel if you stopped carrying the extra weight of, this shouldn't be happening. That phrase alone is responsible for more suffering than most events ever are. What if instead of resisting, you lean in? What if instead of rejecting the moment, you met it? Not with defeat, but with full presence, with awareness, with clarity. That's where your strength is. Because no matter how heavy the burden, the minute you stop fighting it and start lifting it with intention, it becomes something different. It becomes your teacher. It becomes your training. And over time, you realize it was never there to crush you. It was there to craft you. So stop asking life to remove the weight. Stop fighting what already is. Meet it, face it, and carry it, not because it's easy, but because you're ready. Because that's how strength is built. Not in avoidance, not in denial, but in the calm acceptance that this is your moment, and you are more than capable of rising to it. The weight only feels heavier when you waste your strength resisting it. Most people want a better life, but they never ask themselves if they've built the strength to carry it. Everyone wants peace, purpose, clarity, impact. but they want it handed to them in a box with a bow. They don't realize that what you bear in life is only as strong as the back you've built to support it. And if your back is weak, if your character is flimsy, your discipline soft, your mindset fragile, then even blessings will break you. Think about it. You say you want success, but can you carry the discipline that comes with it? The early mornings, the failures, the criticism, the endless hours that no one claps for. You say you want a deep relationship, but can you carry the responsibility of showing up fully, even on the days when love feels like effort? You say you want peace, but can you carry the patience, the emotional control, the boundaries required to protect at peace? The life you dream of doesn't sit on a shelf waiting to be picked up. It's built, slowly, deliberately, on the back of person you become. That's why your inner architecture matters more than anything. Your routines, your thoughts, your values, the grit behind your eyes when things get messy, all of that is the foundation. And if that foundation is shaky, the weight of life will crush whatever you try to build on top of it. You don't rise to the level of your intentions. You fall to the strength of your structure. You fall to the back you've built, and make no mistake, life will test that back every single day. Not always with some huge disaster, but in small moments. The alarm goes off. Do you hit snooze or do you rise? Someone disrespects you. Do you react with ego or respond with wisdom? The world says you're not enough. Do you collapse or stand anyway? These moments, they may seem trivial, but they're the bricks. They're how your back is being built, quietly, repeatedly, over time. The problem is, most people don't train their back until the weight shows up. They wait until life slaps them in the face before they start thinking about discipline, perspective, or resilience. But by then, it's too late. You don't train for the storm, the middle of the storm. You train for it every day before it arrives. That's why you need to pay attention to who you are when no one's watching. Because that version of you, that's the one who carries your life, not the version you post, not the one you project. The real you, the one who either folds or holds when things get heavy. That's who's in charge of whether you thrive or fall apart. So if you want a better life, stop wishing and start building. Build a back strong enough to carry what you say you want. Build the patience to endure failure. Build the humility to keep learning. Build the self-respect to walk away from anything that weakens you. Build the mental clarity to stay focused when the world is loud and distracting. And build the emotional toughness to keep showing up, even when nothing seems to be working. And no, it won't be easy. Growth isn't meant to be easy. It's meant to be earned. You'll thrill. You'll doubt. But if you keep showing up, day after day, rep after rep, something beautiful happens. You become the kind of person who can carry anything. Not because the load got lighter, but because you got stronger. And here's the truth most people miss: when your back is strong, life doesn't intimidate you. You don't need guarantees. You don't need handouts. You don't need to control everything, because you've trained for it. You've built for it, and you know, no matter what life throws at you, you can carry it. So build wisely, build consistently, because the life you want isn't in the distance. It's already here. The question is, are you strong enough to carry it? We don't often think of hardship as an opportunity. In fact, our instinct is to avoid it, escape it, numb it, or resent it. But if you really look, if you get quiet enough and pay attention, there's something else hidden inside every burden. Something subtle, powerful, and easy to miss. An invitation, not to crumble, not to run, but to rise, to become more than you were before the weight arrived. Because life doesn't give you challenges to punish you, it gives them to prepare you. Every time you're hit with something heavy, something unexpected, something that rattles your sense of comfort, there's a choice buried inside. Will you let this shape you, or will you let it shatter you? Will you grow through it or groan beneath it? It's not about what happens to you. It's what you do with what happens to you. That's where the invitation lies. Pain has a way of waking us up. It sharpens our focus. It makes us reconsider what really matters. Think about the moments that changed you. Not the ones where everything went right, but the ones where everything went wrong. The betrayal, the failure, the loss, the breakdown. That's where the shift happened. That's where you found another level of yourself you didn't know existed. So when life puts a burden on your shoulders, it's not the end. It's a doorway. It's life asking, can you expand? Can you become more generous, more grounded, more disciplined, more clear, more resilient? Because the truth is, the version of you that walked into that struggle isn't the version that will make it out. And that's the point. Struggle is the forge. It's where the raw iron of who you are gets shaped into something useful, something solid, something stronger. But you have to lean in. You have to accept the weight without resentment. That's the hard part, because your ego will want to fight it. Your fear will want to flee from it, but your future, your potential, it's waiting right on the other side of it. The burden is simply the invitation to meet that version of yourself. There are people out there who seem unshakable, composed, focused. That wasn't gifted to them. It was forged in fire. It came from walking through chaos, facing their own burdens, and realizing they had more inside them than they thought. They didn't wait for permission to grow. They accepted the invitation when it came, and now they walk differently. They think differently. They live with a kind of presence that wholly comes from having carried something heavy and survived. That's what's available to you too. Every burden, every stressor, every obstacle, every moment that tests you. It's a call to rise, a call to sharpen the sword, tighten the discipline, realign the priorities. Maybe you've been distracted. Maybe you've been passive. Maybe you've been playing smaller than what life is actually calling you to be. Then the burden shows up, and suddenly you're face to face with reality. No more hiding, no more drifting. Now it's time to evolve. But you don't become more by complaining. You don't grow by asking for easier days. You grow by accepting the challenge with open eyes and open hands. You say, all right, this hurts, but I'll carry it. I'll find strength I didn't know I had. I'll move forward even if it's slow. I'll allow this to make me wiser, calmer, stronger. That mindset, that shift, that's the mark of someone who understands that pressure isn't the enemy. It's the path. So the next time something heavy lands in your lap, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this here to teach me? Don't wish for it to disappear. Ask how it can develop you. Because in that burden, there's something sacred, a message, a test, an opportunity to rebuild yourself into someone more capable, more grounded, more dangerous in the best way. You may not be able to control the weight, but you can control how you carry it. And when you carry it with courage, with clarity, with intention, what once felt like a curse becomes the very thing that carved your greatness. And that's the quiet truth about life. Every burden is an invitation to become more, if you're willing to accept it.